Man, I was just blown by this episode. I mean, I haven't seen a dark episode like. Well, it's not really dark though, but it was just I wouldn't say pulled my strings though, like my heartstrings or anything like that though. But I haven't seen an episode like that, an emotional episode like this, since that episode in the first season of Ushno Ko when Akane was about to suicide herself, right? Because from all the cyberbullying, right? This episode, this was no laughing matter. I mean, I didn't think I mean, in the middle of the fight in the last episode with this acrobatic silk spirit, right? Silky hair spirit. I didn't think we were going to get an episode like this where it explains her backstory. And I gotta tell you, it was very upsetting. If anyone, if anyone who hasn't seen this episode 7 of Dandadan, please watch this episode, please. And you tell me if this was an emotional, this episode made you emotional and felt sorry for, I'm just saying, if anyone's watched the series, of course, pretty up to date like I am though. But if anyone else, just watch that episode. It made me very emotional. Because not many does that to me. But yeah, I mean, just episode 7 of Dan 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 with this whole story, I was speechless. That's the best way I can describe this. It made me speechless. Okay, it opens up this whole entire flashback of the acrobatic silky spirit. Her entire story was basically silent, no dialogue, just music. Which I thought I'd say the music for this episode during the whole flashback, it played perfectly. And the thing is, so this spirit had a life, and just. Because we thought that I thought she's walking home in the rain. Well, first of all, how it opens up with just her in this shaky cam way, and the way the visual of the animation, which I thought it was live action at first, right? The way it was shaking, right, and just her just running like this, right, from her point of view, from her eyes. I thought it was live action. And it got me though, but it wasn't. But it felt. I mean, it did a good job with it. This production of this episode was 10 out of 10. And then we see her walking. Later, we see before that we see her walking in the rain. She comes by this store with kids' dresses, right? And which turns out the exact dress that her spirit self wears as a spirit, right? And it looks like she had a kid because that's why the whole mommy reference, right, from last episode. So maybe she thought she lost a kid, right? That's why she's still looking at that child's dress, right? But no, when she got home, it turns out she does have a child. And I felt very sorry for her. This whole entire with the last episode, okay, but here I misunderstood her, right? I felt sorry for her. She had a kid, and she was having life was not good to her, But her kid was the only thing that was the only life that she had. She was the light of her life, going through these difficult times. Because, before I say she was working 2 jobs, one working as a janitor and one working at a cashier at a convenience store, just barely making ends meet, trying to get by, right? And it's taking we see her walking, right? It's because it's taking a physical toll on her, right? Just making a living and supporting her kid, who was like 4 years old, and we see her. She's saving money to buy her that dress. And when he's teaching her like acrobatic stuff, I guess if you see her doing teaching her doing some acrobatic stuff, hence why that's what she was, an acrobatic spirit, an acrobatic, right? But yeah, she was saving that money to buy her that dress. And we see her just like, she was the light of her life. She was the happiness in her life. Her kid. and giving her celebrating her birthday, right? And all of a sudden, I got really. This is the point. Even right now, just even getting to this part right here, I'm trying to hold back tears right here. Literally, just talk about this scene right here. Like I said, not many things like this watching anime gets me like this. I'm not bullshitting. I'm not bullshitting around on this. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not bullshitting around on this. Because the next thing, after the whole transition from a birthday cake party with her, then all of a sudden, she's getting beaten to death by these two guys. Now, I don't know who these guys. I don't know if they're mob people or what. Because one person was counting her money. Obviously they're not people who work for the landlord or anything to evict them or anything. No. There has to be some kind of mob or thugs or robbers. That's the best way. There has to be robbers and stuff like that, or thugs, or mob people. I don't know though. But she's getting the shit beaten out of her, and when she hits when they break her through those window doors, when she hit that glass, and we literally see, it is probably one of the most graphic things I've seen in anime. I mean, it's been a long time since I say anything graphic since Corpse Party, but that's nothing. But we literally see, when she hits that glass, we literally see the glass literally tear into her. And it's up close, It's not you don't see from afar, no. We literally see up close, when she hits that glass, the glass is literally tearing into her. I'm like, oh my god, And then we see the glass basically cut into her eye. I was just in awe, shock and awe. And then the poor girl is crying, and then they just take her. They literally just take her and just drive away. And we see her back into the beginning, from her point of view. She's running, screaming, bleeding out, wondering where she's in full flight mode, whatever, She's running out in the pouring rain, bleeding to death, wondering where she'd take her. They see her drive away in a car, and she falls because she's bleeding out, and we never see her. Now, part of me, it may never be addressed like this again, though. But in the series, but part of me wants to wonder, because what happens to her kid, we'll never know. We will never know what happens to her kid, to her daughter. Part of me wants to probably say, "Oh, maybe we'll see the kid grown up years later," because after that, we see her broken down, probably died now, but we see a young Ira, right? The girl, right? We see her. That's why the spirit is so obsessed with her, calling her mommy and stuff. We see her little girl Ira calling her mommy because, well, she mistook the woman for her mom, and we see her dad come along, and we see mom's not gonna be here for a while. It turns out Ira's mom died, but she doesn't know about death anyway. She said, "Oh, maybe she's sleeping. She'll come back sometime." But her dad just basically sugarcoating it. So Ira's mom's death. But Ira mistook her as her mommy, right? And so she'll wait for her to come back, and that's what the spirit, her, took that for. Because when she was dying, she's like, basically, what I can't remember. I had a child, right? I had a child, but then when Ira approached her, that kind of just instantly lit her up, and that's what made her into this mean spirit. Made her into this monster spirit. Like, she's so keen about Ira. And wanted to call her mommy, and wanted to protect her and be with her, Now I fully understand now. It wasn't because in the last episode she was just crazy, wanted to call her mommy. With this, now I get the full picture. But during this, back in here now, when she's fighting Momo and Ken carrying Ira, which turns out Ira is actually dead. She's actually dead. So now with the spirit, because she can transfer her aura into her. Since Ira's aura is almost gone though, and of course Turbo Granny explaining, yeah, you can do that. You can transfer that into her, right? But the thing is though, it's like a battery, Once one transfer is complete, the other one will die off. So Momo uses her spirit hands, right? Reaches into holds onto Ira's aura, and then reaches into the spirit's aura, and then transfers it to her. But that's when we see from Momo, because she's transferring it, right? Momo sees all this flashbacks, and now she fully understands, because when the whole transfer is complete, right? We see, because Ken was prepared to attack the spirit again, but no, Momo says no. We see her crying, Momo crying, because she saw everything. She saw her life beforehand. And now she completely feels sorry for her now. She fully understands that now. And now Ira has now been brought back to life now. She's been brought back to life. And by the way, yeah, Ken got his golden ball back, by the way. He got his golden ball back, though. He said one of them, because he has to find the other one now. But then Ira awakens, and now, because she also knows it too now, because she had her memories transferred to her too, So she walks up to her and hugs her, and does call her mommy. Because, of course, she's giving her comfort and closure, because Turbo Granny over here, being the nasty biatch that she is, right? She basically says, with her spirit, she'll go to hell. Basically, she won't find rest. She won't rest in peace, because she has full regrets and she lived a shitty life. I'm like, kick the Turbo Granny through a field goal, please. But with this now Ira, because now basically her aura is now into her now, and now she also knows about it too. So that's why she goes there, hugs her, comforts her, calling her mommy, and I will, It's glad you were my mom, and I'm good to have you, Before she fades away to dust. Oh my God. This episode really just had it in for me, Like I said, it left me speechless. I haven't felt this emotional for something like this, for an episode like this. Like I said, since probably the last. In the episode in the first season of Ashinoko, like I said, with Akane, with all that cyberbullying that she went through, and she was about to suicide herself because it does affect on the real life stuff of cyberbullying, right? That's why I was kind of emotionally attached with that, because of that's what happens in real life, right? But I haven't felt that emotional until this episode right here. I'm like, I was blown. I was speechless, like I said. I was like this the whole time. And the whole time what was happening to her, I was really on the verge of tears, literally. Nothing like that gets to me that often, because like I said, I'm not even bullshitting around on this. I was getting emotional with her, because with her getting beaten, she was barely making ends. She was struggling, buying her, saving money to buy her kid the dress, her birthday, she was the happiness in her life, despite just exhaustively working herself to the bone, working 2 jobs, just struggling, and all of a sudden now she's just getting beaten, her, just the way how it showed the glasses literally cutting into her and into her eye, and I'm like, and then literally they just take her daughter away from her, and never to be seen again. And after this episode, I don't know if I don't know for the rest of the series though, but I just want to see what I want to find out what happened to her kid, because by the time when she basically died, became a spirit, we saw young Ira was a little girl though, right? When she saw her, so you're cut to the present now. I want to see what happened to that kid, and now is last time she's there, she's probably their age now, so I want to see what happened to her. Just probably a walk by, and probably they'll walking by and they'll bump him and say, "Oh, excuse me, that's her." I'm like, okay, maybe she's doing well, but who knows? We'll probably will never know what happened to her. So, and that totally sucks though, because she got taken away, never to be seen again, and just her running out of the rain, just bleeding to death. Just oh my god, So this is the reason why she became that spirit, and why she was obsessed with finding Ira. If any episodes from episode 7 onward of Dandadan, if it isn't not like this is probably the best episode I've seen of this series. I don't think any episode onward can top this episode. I don't think it can. This is probably one of the more emotional episodes of an anime series I have seen in a while. Like I said, since Oshinoko season 1 of that episode, though. But overall, just overall, I was speechless. That's the one word I best describe this episode. I was blown, in shock and awe, speechless, emotional. My God, man. 10 out of 10. I would give this 20 out of 20 if I had it to. A 20 out of 10 I would. The production was handled expertly executed on this episode. With the whole flashback, basically no dialogue, just music, played perfectly. But you know what? Longer review for an episode review, but it's worth it because this episode really just got me. Like I said, when I was about to talk about that scene, like I said, I was really on the verge of tearing up again because that's how much it got me on this. My God. And I just totally feel sorry for her. It was good that Ira just hugged her and comforted her, just gave her closure. Maybe she could finally rest in peace, Yeah. So yeah, if I would advise people to watch this episode 7 of Dandadan, please. And you tell me what you think of this episode, or anyone else who's caught up with who's watching the series and is caught up until now. Please let me know. Let me know what you think about episode 7 of Dandadan, please. I really this time for real, I really like to hear your thoughts on this episode. How badly this episode did it affect you, like the same way it affected me? Just let me know. What a ride this episode was. Best episode of the series, easily. But that's episode 7 of Dandadan. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one, and we'll see you next time. Later. Man.